Who is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this. Yo, mom in the fucking stand!
Now, different Persians feel different ways about this.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to know your.
Yeah.
We a lot of our Persian exposure has come from Shahs of Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
So we've told people who are like, this is a garbage program.
Yeah.
And then other people who are like, yeah, that's fun.
Well, my take on Shah, first of all, in all...
so people know, by the way, a Bravo show that was a reality show that has like 10 seasons or some shit.
Yeah, it's a reality show on Bravo, and it's kind of like Jersey Shore, but for Persians.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Now,
LA Persians.
LA Persians, yeah.
Westwood.
Full disclosure, I actually dated MJ.
No!
Yes.
Mercedes
Yes.
Javid?
This just became a YMH exclusive.
Yes. Full disclosure.
My head's exploding.
Yeah.
Mercedes?
When I first...
This is a YMH exclusive.
When I first moved to LA, because I grew up in Northern California, I moved down to LA, and I dated her for a few years, and I was yes, and I was friends with, and I knew Reza, I knew all those guys.
Reza June.
Yeah, I knew all those people. So I knew them back then. All right, so that's full disclosure out the gate.
Huge fans. We've seen every episode.
Episode.
Yeah. So before I even before I even started doing stand up, I was still in graduate school. I was gonna go get my PhD in political science.
Of course you were.
Yeah, and she was like doing real estate, and Rez I think did real estate, whatever. Anyway, so long story short, like towards the mid 98 or so breakup, I get into stand up. Actually, I got into stand up right around the time we broke up, and then after that,
Mercedes.
Yeah, MJ, Mercedes, yeah, exactly.
Did you know Vida?
I knew Vida, and it's interesting because I knew that, first of all, I knew her mom and her dad, and the father.
What Shams?
Shams, yeah. The father was. I don't know if he was. I in all honesty, now I've maybe seen 2 episodes, and the only reason I've only seen 2 episodes is because I'm not a fan of reality shows. For me, reality shows are like fingernails on a chalkboard. In that, even my wife will have on the Kardashians just in the background. And I hate that part where they'll go to somebody and then they'll talk shit about the other person.
Yes.
To me, it just sounds
very
much
contrived a lot of
and it
times.
sounds a lot like, I don't care who it is, whether it's Jersey Shore, Kardashians, Shahs, whatever. Now, let me pull back a second further and go, in my opinion, the joke I was saying about the Shahs, which I thought was what kind of captured it, I said, as an Iranian American, I feel it's a step in the right direction. Because for 40 years, we've been known as terrorists.
Yeah.
Now we're known as drunks, And I feel like, America could be like, these guys get drunk just like us. Someone in middle America could watch
party.
it. They party. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So to me.
And they flash.
And they flash.
All around.
Yeah. America, as long as someone in middle America could watch that and be like, they're not blowing anything up.
Yeah, and you celebrate Nowruz. We learned about Nowruz.
See, I
love it.
It's an interesting way to learn about a culture because a lot of Iranians, like you said, are very proud and stuffy about our culture.
Well, we should say that the ones who usually push back on that show are usually older, right? If you mention it to somebody older, they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But people our age are just like, they
don't care. Yeah. And also so a lot of Iranians will be like, we are lawyers and doctors. You should talk about our history. We had an empire. Da 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 da.
Yes.
So I did a movie a while back called Jimmy Westwood, American Hero, and it was like the Persian Pink Panther. Just like this, bumbling idiot who saves the world. And I co-wrote it, and then I starred in it. Oh, wow. And it was just a silly comedy. Yeah, we made it basically...
Westwood.
Jimmy Westwood, yeah. So we basically made it for
hilarious
12-year-old boys and stoners. That's who we wanted to see this. And a similar thing happened with this. It's just a silly movie. And so... there were a lot of 12-year-old boys who liked it, but then there was a lot of these older Persians who were like, this is a disgrace to our culture.
Sure.
We are not like this.
That's funny because when I would go visit, it's always the older. When I would go visit Peru, when I was younger, I would bring friends sometimes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I would want to show them was basically the ghetto, the super poor areas.
Yeah.
Because it's astonishing and it leaves an impact.
Yeah.
And my uncles and aunts would be like, why are you going to show them that?
Yeah.
And I was like, so that they can see this incredible thing and actually makes you realize, in the world how not everybody has all the privilege that you have.
Yeah.
And they were like, show them the nice shit. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
They come to the nice part. And I was like, no, I want to show them this.
Well, I think that a lot of people are proud of their cultures. And then the problem becomes when we come to America and your culture has been demonized. then you really don't want to show anything negative about that culture.
That's true.
But in my opinion, taking the Shahs or taking something like Jimmy, which is just just like silly slapstick, in my opinion, it's actually a subversive way to show people, like you just said, you're talking about Nowruz. Now, would you have known about Nowruz, the Persian New Year, if it weren't through the Shahs of Sunset? So in a way, it's kind of like going like, hey, we're silly. Oh, here's a lesson. So I feel like, and by the way, life is like too serious anyway. So we need this kind of stuff, you know?
Let's be clear about something. This is not ending here. When we're off mic, a lot
more
details.
Questions.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Maz said this just had a baby with her. I don't know.
Tommy, hey, what the fuck, guys? See, I don't know. Like, you guys know more about the show than I do, so I don't know a lot of the details.
But she married a white guy from the East Coast, and
from Chicago, right?
Oh, was he from Chicago?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if the Persian family. No, I think he was on the East Coast.
Maybe
Remember, they went to New York to meet his family. He's like, "This is my family."
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
He's got the grossest accent.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wonder if their family.
Reza's fucking funny.
Reza is
very funny.
He's very funny.
Reza's very funny. Says a lot of funny stuff. Even back then, I found him to be funny. Like he's.
And what about Juicehead? Did you hang out?
I don't know. I didn't know anybody. All the other guys, like I probably have met them here and there, but I didn't know them. But like those two, I knew well.
But you know what's kind of cool though is like running, like that whole running with a circle, even as you age a little bit, like having that tight knit. At least on the show, it's obviously a show, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, a bit obviously orchestrated,
contrived. Yeah.
But you know, I think that's cool to have like a tight circle of friends.
Of course.
I agree. You know, I mean, again, I don't know. You know, this goes back to the whole idea on reality shows, and even like when you're on a regular show, people think, oh, you guys are all best friends, and you're like, no, we just film together, and then that person goes off, and I go do my thing. So I have no idea who hangs with whom and why and how. I don't know, but I do know that, like I said, it was at first there was a lot of controversy. Then a lot of the people in the community, I think, did start to embrace them because they were like, oh, these guys are now celebrities. Yeah. Yes, question, yes.
I have a Persian question for you.
Yeah.
I grew up in the San Fernando Valley with many a Persian girl.
Yes.
And I had, when I was 13 years old, an 18-year-old Persian girlfriend.
Okay.
And her father was very, very strict.
Yeah.
And one time we went to the beach and we had to take the bus together, and she had to stop and call him every hour or 2 hours to check in. And pay phones back
you
in
took
the day.
You took a bus from the valley to the beach.
It took like 5 hours.
That in itself, the fact that no parent would volunteer to drive you guys.
So horrible.
You want to go beach? You take bus to beach, bitch.
Yeah. It was fucking, both our parents horrible.
Hilarious.
Anyway, she told me that Persian girls, to maintain their virginity, will butt sex.
Take it in the butt. I've heard about that.
Is this true?
In the butt, Bob, in the butt. Remember that? Remember that? The dating game. You remember that?
No.
There's a great clip of the dating game where they, in the dating game, they used to say,
Bob Eubanks.
Yeah, they would say, so they'll ask you, they'll send you to the other room and they'll ask her some questions, and then you come back and then they'll ask you and they see if your answers match. So they had asked the wife, what's the craziest place you've ever had sex before? And the wife said, like, on a pool table or something. Yeah. And then the guy comes back and goes, so what's the craziest place? He goes, in the butt, Bob, in the butt.
That's
fantastic.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That looks great.
But is that true?
I have heard that myself, and I don't know if it's just Persian Jewish girls or Persian Muslim girls. I don't know. I did not experience that myself in full honesty.
Growing up in Marin.
Well, grew up in Marin, there weren't even that many Persians.
No, it's
So
very
were most
crackery.
of your friends not Persian then? In
a lot of my friends were just white dudes, and I had a handful of Persian friends who I'd met through my. So when we came from Iran to America, obviously my parents had Persian friends, so I met the kids of those families, and there was a handful of us, and they all knew each other because there were so few of them. So they would be like, oh, Friday night we're going to Eskandaripour's house. Saturday night we're going to Masoudi's house. And so we go to these different houses. And there was a couple friends who were really close friends of mine who were same grade and happened to have Persian parents in America. And I would say that our experiences, though, were a lot more American than our parents. I hated going to like these parties where like my parents would have like Persian music playing in the background.
I was going to ask you about this.
Oh God, I
because
hated it.
on the Shahs of Sunset, house parties are a big deal, and also how you dress up is a big deal. You have to Gucci, you have to wear your Prada, you have to wear like your bling. So did you experience that growing up?
The same way you had that epiphany about the towel and like, and maybe this was something in my child. Like I had this aversion towards those types of parties because it was so formal. So just growing up, I remember like when I started, I had a like the type of woman that I was attracted to was like dark-haired, exotic, but not Iranian. I was like, I want to meet like Latina women and why is that? And that was because I felt like Iranian women that came with that formality of like dressing up and, this is how I'm going to present myself. But from what I would hear behind closed doors, doing whatever they wanted to do. So just the whole hypocrisy of it. Like
doing what does that mean?
Just whatever it is, whether it's like sexually or what have you. Like you're just saying, like, for example, if really like you're saying like, oh no, I'm a virgin. And then like you're taking it in the butt. You're not a virgin. I mean, come on, let's just, just relax.
So they're presenting like they're,
you are an angel. Yeah, exactly.
They're presenting like they're Puritan, like, pure. And then,
well, I just think, listen, there's a thing with the culture that like, I think there's a formality that comes with the culture. Even the language, like we have in Persian, we have just like you have in French and in Spanish, you have the formal you and the
informal,
the informal. So in Persian, you meet people and it's all formal. You got to go formal. And at a certain point, it just, growing up in America, I felt like there was all these, like when I would talk to somebody who would talk to me and use the formal you.
Yeah.
I just felt like, unless if it was like an older person but if they were of the same age and now they're talking to me with formal, I just felt
weird.
like,
it's very American to be anti-formal, period.
Absolutely.
Because we're all like, no, we don't play that shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you like you're just like, I don't give a fuck who you think you
I
are.
love that.
True.
I love that.
Yes, that's very American.
Matter of fact, my dad had this lawyer in Marin County. His name was John, and this guy was a big drinker, and my dad was a big drinker. And it was one of the first times I saw an adult come, and he was, American, and my dad was the Persian dude, but like, I don't think his Persian friends would ever come over and like just openly cuss. Not in an angry way, but in a fun way. But John, the lawyer, would be like, "Oh, this is fucking great, man. This is fantastic. This motherfucker." And as a kid, I'm like, "Whoa, my dad's letting this," and my dad was having a great time. This is great. So that kind of loosened me up a little bit. And then later, when I moved down to LA, where you run into all these Persians, we have a family friend who's this Iranian woman who is like probably younger than my mom, but like older than me. And I would hear her cuss in Persian, and she was of this she'd been married to somebody who was, royalty or whatever, but I just loved how easygoing she'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here." And I was like, I love this lady.
Good morning, Julia. Did you like that highlight? Why not watch a whole episode or look at other highlights here, or you can subscribe right here so you know when
You dumb broad.
What? I did that right. I know I did. Did I do that right?
That was a perfect.
That's a great one.